The rain had started again, thin, cold needles that blurred the rows of marble and names. Elizabeth Walsh stood motionless before her son's grave, her umbrella tilted uselessly in one hand, the other clutching a small white rose. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. sharp. That was her ritual. No matter the meeting, the city, or the storm, she came. It was the only appointment she never cancelled. Her son, Michael, had been gone for 5 years. A car accident, on a bright morning that had no right to take him. He'd been 20. Elizabeth, CEO of a multinational firm, had built her life around control, numbers, projections, and power suits that made her feel untouchable. But at her son's grave, she was none of those things. She was just a mother who couldn't fix the one thing that mattered. She whispered, "Hi, sweetheart. I brought you the white rose again. You always said they looked cleaner than red ones." Her voice cracked. She swallowed hard, brushed rain from her cheek, though it wasn't rain, and turned to leave. That's when she saw them. A woman, perhaps mid-30s, with dark hair plastered to her face, crouched by another grave 2 rows down. Her hands trembled as she held a small girl close. The child clutched a soaked teddy bear, whispering something in Spanish. Elizabeth hesitated. She'd seen other mourners before, but something about this woman's shoulders, tight with grief, pulled her in. The little girl's dress was thin, her shoes muddy. They didn't look like they belonged in the tidy, manicured cemetery of Westbridge. The woman looked up, startled. "Lo siento," she murmured. We come only few minutes." Her accent was heavy, her English halting. Elizabeth shook her head gently. "It's okay. Are you all right?" The woman nodded too quickly. "My husband, he is here." Her voice broke. "We come sometimes. I tell my daughter he watches from heaven." Elizabeth's gaze fell on the headstone, a simple slab with the name Carlos Rivera, 1989-2023. Fresh flowers wilted beneath it. The little girl tugged her mother's sleeve. "Mama, tengo hambre." The mother whispered, "Shish, despace," and kissed her hair. Elizabeth caught the word hambre. Hunger. Her heart clenched. She'd just left a boardroom where they'd discussed profits in the millions. And now, this. A woman and child in the rain, hungry, grieving. Without thinking, she reached into her bag, pulling out a protein bar she kept for long meetings. She offered it to the girl. The mother blinked, startled. No, I cannot. Please," Elizabeth said softly. "It's just a snack." The little girl looked up at her mother, uncertain. Then, with a small nod from the woman, she took it, small hands clutching the wrapper as if it were gold. "Gracias," the mother whispered. Elizabeth hesitated, then crouched beside her. "Do you live nearby?" The woman hesitated. "We stay, with friends. Not always same place." Her voice was heavy with shame. Elizabeth's throat tightened. "I see." They sat in silence, 3 figures under a gray sky, linked by loss and rain. After a moment, the woman turned. "You visit your son?" Elizabeth nodded. "Every Tuesday." The woman's eyes softened. "Then you are strong." Elizabeth almost laughed. A quiet, broken sound. "I don't feel strong." The woman smiled faintly. "You come anyway. That is strength." It was such a simple thing to say, but it pierced through Elizabeth like sunlight through fog. She realized, with a start, that she hadn't truly seen anyone in a long time. She'd lived behind glass walls of meetings and money, untouched, unreachable. Now here was this stranger, drenched and hungry, reminding her what humanity looked like. Elizabeth took a deep breath. "What's your name?" "Lucia. And this is Anna." Elizabeth smiled at the child. "That's a beautiful name." Anna smiled back, crumbs of granola on her chin. Something in that moment, something invisible and holy, shifted. "Lucia," Elizabeth said slowly, "do you have work?" Lucia shook her head. "I clean houses sometimes, but not many. People don't like papers not perfect." Elizabeth glanced at her car parked by the gate, the sleek black sedan that screamed success. She thought of the empty guest room in her home, the pantry overflowing with untouched groceries, the endless lists of things that looked important. Then she thought of her son, how kind he had been, how he always gave his lunch away at school. "I might know someone who needs help," Elizabeth said. "Maybe cleaning, maybe cooking. Would you be interested?" Lucia's eyes widened. Yes, please." She pressed a hand to her heart. "You are very kind." Elizabeth smiled softly. "It's nothing. Just come by tomorrow. We'll talk." She scribbled an address on a napkin from her bag. As Lucia took it, the rain slowed. For the first time that day, Elizabeth noticed the sky was clearing. The next afternoon, Lucia arrived, nervous, holding Anna's hand. Elizabeth welcomed them into her home, fed them, gave Anna a set of Michael's old books. Days became weeks. Lucia began working part-time for Elizabeth, helping with the house. Anna started attending school nearby, learning English quickly. Every Tuesday, Elizabeth still visited her son's grave, but now, she wasn't alone. Lucia and Anna often came with her, bringing small wildflowers. One day, as they stood together, Anna looked up and said shyly, "Miss Elizabeth, my teacher says angels send people to help others. Maybe Michael sent you to help us." Elizabeth's eyes filled with tears. She knelt, brushing Anna's hair back. "Maybe he did, sweetheart. Maybe he did." Months later, Lucia had saved enough to rent a small apartment. She'd enrolled in classes to improve her English. Anna thrived in school, bright and confident. And Elizabeth, once defined by her success, found a new kind of wealth. It wasn't measured in profit margins or share prices. It was measured in laughter at her dinner table, in flowers left on 2 graves instead of 1, and in the knowledge that kindness had turned strangers into family. Because sometimes, the people we meet in our moments of grief are the ones who remind us how to live again.